took off my glasses and sat down. I felt I'd given a pretty poor speech. But on my way back to Washington on the train, I rewrote it just in case it was to be published, something that I would be proud of. Well, the war went better, as I say. In 1864, we kept winning battles. However, 1864 was a hard time. Politically, things didn't go well. I feared that the Union itself would be destroyed. Why, the heavens themselves were hung in black. After a group of disgruntled Republicans formed their own convention and put forth General John Fremont as their candidate, I felt we needed to do something to unify the country, so I helped establish the National Party for Unification. We ran under that ticket and won. My vice president was Andrew Johnson, a Democrat from Tennessee, but a Union Democrat. Now, we won. They put me back in the office, and we won with over 200,000 votes, it says on this dispatch. More than our nearest rivals, which were General George McClellan and Senator George Pendleton of Ohio. During this period, I persevered and wrote. I desired to so conduct the affairs of this administration that if at the end, when I come to lay down the reins of power, I have lost every other friend on earth, I shall still have one friend left. And that friend shall be deep down inside of me. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to the life I have. That summer, prior to the election, I was weary and despondent. I'd lay on my sofa and read in the Bible where God told Job, gird up thy loins like a man. That was comforting and applicable advice to me. I laughed a little, and jokes were nowhere in me. I do wish I could go back to a former time and tell a humorous story and alleviate the turmoils we're now experiencing. But alas, I cannot. I would pace back and forth. I had cold legs. I could hardly sleep. I would pace the floor for hours at night, covering my shoulders with a shawl or a blanket, pondering about the state of the nation and what we were to do. I feel as though I shall never be happy again. This war is killing me. A rest would be good, but I cannot escape my thoughts. When it's tired, it's way down inside of me and can't be got at. But by September, Sherman had taken Atlanta. Richmond would soon fall shortly thereafter. My dismal mood lifted somewhat. And then we won the election, and it lifted more. I felt maybe there was a chance for the Union. Well, at the inauguration, I thought, now's the time to unify the nation, put us back together. Now, if you'd lost family members, you'd probably be angry. We did not have retaliation against those who had left on either side. So I spoke of love and charity, provided ingredients to any nation, especially somebody who's been through such civil strife as we have. So at my inaugural address, in March of that year, I had a speech that I thought would solidify my feelings about charity and love. Fondly do we hope, fervently do we pray, that this mighty scourge of war may speedily pass away. Yet if God wills that it continue until the wealth piled high by the bondman's 250 years of unrequited toil shall be sunk, and until every drop of blood drawn with the lash shall be drawn by another with the sword, as it was said 3,000 years ago, so it still must be said, the judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right. Let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, to do all that may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. As I told people many times, we must have faith that right makes might. And if we were right, God would help us. And it seems that he was doing this because, fortunately, the war ended a month after the inauguration. Now, you may think that all I ever talked about in this war was Negroes and slavery. But there are other problems that the nation faces. I spoke on labor December 3rd, 1861, to Congress. Now labor is prior to, and it is independent of capital. Capital is only the fruit of labor, and could never have existed if labor had not existed first. Later in the letter, I addressed another concern that people always have in a country. March 21st, 1864. Let not him who is houseless pull down the house of another, but let him labor diligently and build one for himself. Thus, by example, assuring that his own house shall be safe from violence when built. Now, if you're offered a job digging a trench, you think about your aching back and sore muscles and the low pay, well, rail splitting was the only job available. I took it because it was worthwhile, worthy work. I spoke a lot about the Bible. I told Joshua Speed again in the letter that he should take the book, the Bible. And as you see, I carry my Bible with me all the time. I consult it, not just on the capital. Take the Bible upon all the reasons you can and the balance on faith. You will live and die a better man. Well, I'm glad that you were here. We do have other appointments. We are almost out of time. Now, what we need in our dealings as individuals and as a nation is we need personal honesty and integrity. The paying of one's debts, the paying of the national debt. We need hard work and desire, the desire to learn and improve ourselves and our children through study and learning. That will make a better nation. Well, we need humor, as I said, to lighten the hardships of our lives. And we need faith in the Lord and charity towards all men. Now, how stands the union? What are you doing for it? Are you living up to the light and truth you have within you? For what are you voting? For what are you not voting for? Are you living up to the light within you?